Hi everyone. One day my grandpa decided to take my brother and I to go hit golf balls. My brother was about 15 years old and I was about 12 years old. He took us to this driving range in Fullerton by his house. At the driving range there's an upper level and a lower level. We decided to go on the upper level because there's no one up there. And we all just started hitting balls. And then my brother and I decided it would be a good idea to see who could throw a golf ball the farthest. And I won, of course. And that was my first ever encounter with the sport. Golf is a very frustrating yet rewarding sport. According to the article History of the Game of Golf, golf dates as far back as the 1400s in Britain, more specifically Scotland. For some people, golf could become a career or it could become a good form of relaxation. So today I'm going to teach you the basics of the game of golf, my experience with the sport, and how to swing a golf club. So first, the basics are, there are 18 holes on a golf course, and there's specific spots where you tee off. The red is for the women's, the white is for the men's, and the blue is if you're really good. It's the farthest away from the hole. And I've even heard that there's gold, which is even farther, but I haven't seen it yet on any course I've been to. And there are different clubs for distance. The drivers, if you want to hit it really far. And the irons, like, there's different numbers. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 5, 6, and 7 are if you want to hit it far and get it up, and 8 and 9 is if you want to go kind of short but get the ball up more, and the putter is just if you're right on the green and you want to, if you're close to the hole. And second, my experience with the sport is I've been playing since I was like 10 or 12, and I started out as a righty, did that for a couple years. And then one day I found a lefty club at the same driving range that I went to in the beginning. And I started using that, and my grandpa saw that I was hitting it pretty good, so he decided to get me lefty clubs for my birthday one year. And then I did lefty for a good 5 or 6 years. And then recently I wasn't hitting it as good, I was pulling it to the right. So my grandpa decided that we should take lessons at a golf course near my house called El Prado. And our instructor was named Rick. And he saw that I wasn't hitting it very good either from the left, so he made me hit a few balls right-handed, and it was going pretty straight and far. So we made the decision to get me righty clubs and go back to righty. So we went to this golf shop called Roger Dunn and bought righty clubs called Cobra. And that's what I've been using ever since, and I've been hitting it pretty good. And lastly, I'm going to show you how to swing a golf club. And first, your grip. Well, if you're a righty, your glove goes on the left hand. If you're a lefty, your glove goes on the right hand. Your grip should be pretty far down. And on your left hand, your first finger should go in between your pinky finger and your ring finger on the left hand. And your feet want to be lined up with your shoulders. I can't do a full swing, so I'm doing slow motion. And you don't want to be too hunched over or too straight up. You want to be just right in the middle. And you crank it a little. And you don't want to be out here or all the way back here. You want to be somewhere in the middle. And when you go back, if you're young, you can crank it back really far. But if you're old, you might hurt your back. So, and then you just come through smoothly. And when you end, you want to end up like straight facing where the ball goes, and your back foot wants to be up like this. You could be cranked back with the club back here, but you don't have to. So, in conclusion, I think golf is a great sport. Today I'll tell you the basics of the game of golf, my experience with the sport, and how to swing a golf club. Now you guys should know what to do if someone asks you if you want to go play golf. And I know what you're thinking, oh, I'm not going to be good at this sport, or the sport sounds so boring. Don't knock it until you try it. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
All right, well, I like the story at the beginning about going to the range with your grandfather and your brother, and then I like the payoff that you could throw it farther than your brother. I thought that was kind of fun. That gives us a little bit of enjoyment as we're heading into the topic. You identify what your topic is. It's a pretty ambitious goal for a short presentation to be able to do all of those things. So I'm not sure that you complete as much as you can, but you give us a pretty good introduction to the idea. So that, I think, maybe it would be another way to express what it is you're trying to accomplish. There's an excellent preview of what the supporting structure is going to be, and so we know exactly where we are at any point in the speech. And usually there's good descriptive content in the presentation. I like the fact that you add little details here and there, like the name of the golf instructor, and you tell us about going from hitting right to hitting left and then going back again. I thought that was interesting, and it personalizes a little bit, makes it more engaging for the audience. The delivery issues, your body movements are fine, especially when you're doing the demonstration. I think you've got that pretty well planned out. The same thing with your gestures. I think you do a pretty good job. Although at one point at the beginning of the speech, you do have your thumb kind of hooked into your waistband or your pocket or something like that, and that looks a little bit odd, but that wasn't for very long, and most of the time you're pretty engaged there. Your eye contact is very good. You know, I feel a little bit like I'm judging people's personalities sometimes when I point these things out, and I don't mean to judge anybody's personality. You're kind of a quiet person, and your voice range is a little bit narrower. You'd need to find a way to maybe punch it up a little bit, and if the range is a problem, maybe the speed at which you talk and the volume would be a way to pick that up, because the presentation things, you sound a little dry, a little slow, and yeah, it's early in the morning. We need a little bit of energy to get people going. So you can have fun with the topic. You don't have to be smiling and dancing the whole time, but you do have to be a little bit more engaged and perform a little bit for the audience, and I think that those would be the ways to maybe do that and help you. So even though it might not be natural for you to be that energetic, a little bit of extra volume and, like I said, maybe going just a little bit quicker would help overcome some of those other issues that are going on. Facial expressions, I think you've got a nice smile when you talk about throwing the ball farther than your brother and at the exit, but you don't really share it with us very much during the presentation, and I think you know, we're people, we're friendly. We don't bite. Well, maybe, some of us don't bite. Mala's sitting up front, you always have to watch out for him. But the rest of us, we're pretty friendly, so don't be shy about, kind of engaging a little bit with your facial expressions also. I could hear you, that was fine. And like I said, most of the visual things I think are pretty solid. Just a couple of things with your voice that I think you need to work a little bit on. And, you're doing a good job with the content. All right, thank you.